Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA ButtKicker Cup and Super Cup series. And as you can see, the playoffs are underway right now. This is going to be the first playoff race of the season as we have a long race here tonight at Darlington. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be an exciting one. This is the track too tough to tame. I always get excited when we come to this place here as we present the Cheerwine 250. And man, I mean, this is definitely the definition of a driver's track, wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Absolutely, Brian. I think this is definitely going to be just that. And a lot of drivers are going to be lined up here tonight. Looks like we got about 23 cars in the field, and I guarantee you, at least 50% of those guys are going to get that Darlington stripe before the night's over.
Very much so, and look a little bit at the race facts here for tonight's race. 184 laps on the schedule here. Stages 35, 75, and then a long run to the end, ending the race at 184. They got 6 sets of tires that we do believe that means they have 5 down in the pits. Fuel run is probably around 53 laps from what the information we've gathered, because considering we have a 75% fuel tank, so hopefully that information is correct. We've seen it be a little off before, but I do believe it's spot on this time around. Can't wait to see. I think gas is probably not even going to be on these guys' minds. I think it's all going to be about tires, Big Al.
Yeah, tires definitely going to be the one that makes the big difference. And these drivers, it's going to be conservation. I mean, that's going to be the key. Guys are going to have to lay back at the beginning because I think the tire life on these cars to be competitive probably going to be about 25, 30 laps. So once we get into the end of that first stage and second stage, I think we're going to see drivers just holding on for dear life.
100%. And we saw it at other tracks. Richmond, we saw where guys were really, it paid off to save that tire early, and then you could just all of a sudden show up like closer, to the end of the run. So I think that could be a valid strategy here tonight. Also, just considering this is a place where you could take it a little bit easier, and you could find yourself gaining lap time later in the run. But as you can see, we saw the playoff starting here. That is, I do believe, going to be for the Super Cup, if I'm not mistaken. They're definitely excited to get this thing underway and see who's going to be crowned champion for both the Cup Series and the Super Cup. I do believe Clayton Hoffman at the top of the field for both, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look at the point standings here. I know we've already kind of looked at it in that little promo video, but let's take another look at it. Clayton Hoffman at the top of the board here with 3 wins. Matt DeCiani, second place. This is, of course, the Cup Series standing, the 13-week season. Matt DeCiani's got 1 win, second place. JC Nobrega, he's in third place, no wins, so definitely pointed his way up there into third. Jeffrey Souza, fourth place with 1 win. Danilo Coelho, 1 win in fifth. Mark Pageant, sixth place. Lucas Abreu, seventh. Chris Johnson in eighth. Carl Dodson, ninth. Josh Schaffner rounding out our top 10 here for the Cup Series points. Taking a look at the Super Cup Series points, Clayton Hoffman, 7 wins, more than everybody. He is sitting right up at the top of the board. Matt DeCiani sitting in second place with 2 wins. Mark Pageant in third with 2 wins. Josh Schaffner in fourth with 2 wins also. Jeffrey Souza's got 3 wins, sitting in fifth. Al Kozlowski's got a win. He's sitting in sixth. Greg Wyszynski, he is the first driver without a win here in the Super Cup Series. He's sitting in seventh. Eighth place, Wayne Grossi. Ninth, Chris Johnson with 1 win. Kenny Powell in 10th. Mark Sanchez is in 11th. Randy Drumhiller, 12th place. Andrew Griesbaum, 13th. 14th, Paul Olson. 15th, Andrew Layton. 16th, Robert Pattengale. And those are your playoff drivers, that top 16. Seeing a lot of guys qualifying too, Big Al. It's kind of surprising. Usually at a track like Darlington, a lot of guys like to try to play it safe.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anywhere that's going to be safe around here tonight. I think it's all going to be about track position. I don't think we're going to see a lot of cautions, but I do believe tire wear is going to cause us to have it. That coupled with the fuel window of 53 laps, that's going to cause us to have a couple of green flag pit stops here, at least in that last stage. So I don't know, man. I'm just excited to see how this thing's going to play out. And another reason why I think too, Brian, that you're seeing a lot of guys qualify is it's hard to pass at this track. I mean, so That's the reason why I say track position is going to be so important.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. You're 100% right. Well, let's go ahead and take a step away and listen to the national anthem, and we'll be right back with the Cheerwine 250.
The night time is the right time. Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We got the grid set here. Renato Tamburini going to be lining up on the pole. Lucas Abreu in second place. Clayton Hoffman qualified third. Derek Heitman in fourth. Fifth place, Danilo Coelho. JC Nobrega in sixth place. Seventh place, Matt DeCiani. Eighth place, Mark Pageant. Ninth place, Chris Johnson. And rounding out our top 10 here is Andrew Griesbaum.
And that's going to put Jeffrey Souza in the 11th place with Mark Sanchez on his outside. Thomas O'Hara in 13th place with Kenny Powell on the outside. And that 24 G Camry. The 15th place holds John Mullins with Brian Johnson along his outside. Donna Avery in 17th with Al Keselowski on his outside. Wayne Grassi comes in at 19th with Paul Osen on the outside of him in row 20, P20.
Philippe Radajic in 21st. Andrew Layton in 22nd. 23rd is Randy Drumhiller, and that is our 23 car field here for tonight. Definitely, not a bad size field, and I think that's probably the perfect size field here for Darlington, just considering how hectic this race is probably going to be. Very difficult to
Yep.
pass, hard. This is literally a game of chicken here at this little over a mile track.
Yeah, definitely going to be challenging for a lot of these drivers to navigate this. I don't know, what do you even call this thing? It's in your backyard, so I'll let you do the track explanations. But one thing I will say is that outside air ambient temperature is 83 degrees with a track temp of 89. That wind is going to be out of the south at 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, this is a very interesting track. And you mentioned it earlier about probably going to be not a lot of cautions here, and you're totally right about that. This track somehow it has a very self-cleaning surface. Usually when guys wreck, the apron is so large here. You go down there, and that kind of keeps the cautions from coming out when you do have a wreck. 1 and 2 is the bigger corner, a lot more of a sweeping corner. You can go through there. Not flat out, really. You have to lift through there, but it's definitely a very fast corner. You're going to see speeds of probably 180 mile an hour, 170 somewhere in there at this track. 3 and 4, that is the doozy. That is the one where you really have to even throw a little brake in it, and that's where you see a lot of guys riding towards the top of the racetrack, and that's where predominantly you see the Darlington stripe occur.
Yeah, absolutely. And this track, like I said, totally different on both ends of the spectrum. Turns 1 and 2 being completely opposite of turns 3 and 4. Drivers having to navigate both of those. So it kind of has a super speedway kind of feel, but with a short track appeal at 1.31 miles here in Darlington, South Carolina. I mean, this is one of the oldest tracks in NASCAR as well.
Yeah.
A lot of drivers through the generations cutting their teeth here. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys show their hands and play those cars tonight, because sometimes you just got to play the cards that you dealt. Talked to a lot of the different teams here before this thing got going, and just kind of figure out what their strategies were. And everybody pretty much said the same thing. Brian said they were just going to kind of conserve tires. Lights are off on the pace car. He's going to be leading us down the backstretch, but I do believe that's going to be the name of the game.
Oh yeah, tire conservation is going to be key here tonight. Track East was supposed to be a 1.5-mile racetrack, but Ramsey's Minnow Pond kind of changed that, which was located in 3 and 4 here. As we see the pace car getting ready to dip down pit road. Pit road is going to be a difficult thing here as we get this thing underway here. These guys getting ready to enter the Geico restart zone. This is one of the most difficult pit roads in NASCAR. And there's the green flag out in the air. Renato Tamburini with a great start. That's the start you want at Darlington. You do not want to be side by side going into 1.
And we are checked up into 12. Is going to be sideways, and that is going to bring out the first caution. Mark Sanchez and Kenny Powell going to get collected in the fray. Once we got going there, looks like Derek Heitman kind of got into the back of the car in front of him. I believe that would have been Abreu, and that kind of caused that line to check up. Let's take a look at that, Brian, and see what actually happened.
Taking a look at it right now, see exactly what just happened.
It's going to be on that high line.
See the 12. You said I think he was the one that kind of kicked it off. Oh yeah, he went down, thought he was clear of Matt DeCiani and was not. Oh, Sanchez. Unfortunate incident there with him, and Kenny Powell I know got into Sanchez once the contact started there. You see Kenny Powell trying to whip that thing back around. Luckily, I don't think the damage was too severe. These guys were not really truly up to speed quite yet.
Yeah, and we're sitting here. Well, I was saying that I was speculating is what I was doing. That there weren't probably going to be many cautions, but here we go. Didn't even make it 2 laps in the books, and we've already got at least 3 cars that got some damage. Looks like a couple going to be more significant than others, especially that 12 of JC Nobrega. He definitely banged his car up on the front end and the back end there, Brian.
Yeah, and he actually took a tow. He's going to be showing up 1 lap down right now, and started towards the front of the field. That is not what you want to see, and it just shows you how hard it is to go side by side there through 1 and 2.
Yeah, Jeffrey Souza coming down pit road as well. And I think the key thing is that top line did not get the launch that they needed, and Derek Heitman was actually shoving the 9 of Abreu, I do believe. And it kind of caused that line to check up, and I think the 12 was just going to try his hand by going low, find himself almost in a 3-wide situation, and then in the washing machine, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely very unfortunate. Definitely the 35 and the 9 probably going to be trying to keep the dream alive up here, as that 12 car has some major issues. Got the worst out of that whole situation. Of course, I do believe Kenny Powell's still on pit road trying to get some damage fixed here. Pace car light should be going out here anytime.
As is the 31 of Mark Sanchez. Both those 2 drivers down on pit road right now. They're going to have to be getting the move on here if they're going to try to stay on the lead lap. Kenny Powell now in motion. It's going to be a race for those 2 drivers to try to get off of that pit road exit prior to that field coming around. I think they're going to be clear. Now they're just going to have to hammer down, Brian, and catch the back of the field.
Yeah, damage is not something you want to have at a track like Darlington. I mean, you can get that Darlington stripe and it's okay, but if you mess up that toe or the suspension or anything like that, I mean, this track is all about how you're handling, in both corners. That's one thing that's really tricky about this track when it comes to setting up a race car is, you have to set up for both corners, and you make an adjustment for one corner, you're going to be sacrificing something in the others.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a long race. This is going to be 184 miles or 184 laps, before we get this thing in the book. So, unfortunately, those guys got caught up in that. Now, going forward, drivers have got to be cognizant. They cannot get caught up in anything like that, especially this early on. Pace cars down. That 35 of Renato Tamburini, now not even waiting for the Geico restart zone. He's going to put the hammer down and go ahead and get this field going.
Yeah, he went really early there. Plenty of room for him to enter turn one. Side by side though, for third, as Derek Heitman and Clayton Hoffman do battle here. And look at Derek Heitman, huge run up on the top. We're going to see that all night long, where guys are going to get big runs on the top.
Yet Heitman's still continuing his run as he's going to be trying to make his way through the field. One good thing about that restart, though, Brian, it kind of allowed us to get that single file racing that we really do and have come accustomed to here at Darlington. But now you'll see the 76 of Heitman on the inside of the 9 of Lucas Abreu. He is going to be doing everything he can to try to best him for that second place position and getting a run there coming off of turn 2. And I think it's going to be his.
Wow, look at that. I mean, he made a run on the top on Clayton Hoffman and then made a run on the bottom on the 9 of Lucas Abreu and was successful in both. He has got himself a fast machine here tonight. It does appear as he has worked his way up to second place. But look at this. Everybody backed up right here, right on top of each other, inches off of their back bumpers.
Yeah, but their feet off of Renato Tamburini's back bumper as he is continuing to lead this field. Like we said, he wasted no time getting off to a dominating lead, and that is going to be the key for him as he is getting the benefit of the clean air and also a little bit of breathing room. It's just almost a 9/10 of a second there between him and the second place car, Derek Heitman.
Yeah, but he's going to have to be really careful about the long run here as we see, I think I'm trying to pass for second again here as Lucas Abreu tries to get back around Derek Heitman here.
And these guys are battling way too hard this early on. And, I mean, it's one of those things where maybe Heitman's not as fast as Abreu needs him to be, but they have to be very cognizant. Also, the 35, because you don't want to burn your tires up here prematurely as you see the 20, the 2 of Mark Padgett making his way through the field.
A little bit of a contact there. 76 gets into the back of the 9. They're able to keep that together. That was a close one right there. Yeah, Mark Padgett, third in the points. He's looking to get up through this field and gain some more momentum in these playoffs.
And, you know, Brian, while these guys are sitting back there battling, Renato Tamburini has got himself out to a 1.6 second lead here. Now Heitman is also back on the inside of Abreu as these guys are just crossover. I mean, they're just battling it out here. And Clayton Hoffman's just got a front row seat here trying to see how this thing plays out.
It very much is here. Side by side for second place still. Oh, more contact. Abreu hits the wall. Heitman hits him. And here we go. They're starting to check up hard here as Clayton Hoffman trying to find a lane here. And look at that. Tamburini is out to a huge gap already.
Well, now with 10 laps on their tires, you know, I think these guys have been battling pretty hard. And you know as well as I do, you know, you really can't sustain that here at Darlington. So it's going to be interesting to see how they hold off the rest of the field. But look at the 35. It's almost, he's in a different time zone from these guys right now.
He very much is. But like you mentioned before, you don't want to burn those tires up prematurely. You got to hope that he is keeping the temps down on that machine. But him not having to battle, too, is probably helping him out. Throughout the field, there's more battling going on. You see Jeffrey Souza on the inside of Andrew Layton. That is for 15th there. Kenny Powell trying to work his way back up through the field here as he is sitting right now, I do believe, in 17th. He just passed Al Kozlowski, now working on Andrew Layton. So even though he got some damage, still seems like he's got a competitive race car.
Yeah, looking at his lap times, Powell is definitely still very much on the pace. You know, he is not too far off these guys. So even if you didn't get all of that incidental contact or the optional damage repaired, I think you'll definitely have a chance to do that once we get into the end of this stage. And speaking of that, lap 13 of 35 in this first stage, Clayton Hoffman now making his move on the inside of Lucas Abreu.
Excellent pass there for the 92. He's able to make his way up into the third position. You see Mark Padgett now going to be trying to follow through on the inside. Looks like he's going to get that position. The 9 seems like he is starting to struggle here. Maybe that was just from having to battle Derek Heitman so hard.
Those two guys were battling way, way intently, especially early on. So I do believe that the 9 is probably going to feel the effects of that because he wasn't really driving his race. And now the rabbit of Daniel Coho, now he is up top trying to close the distance as well. Chris D. Johnson, along with Matt DeCiani, these guys are getting stacked up there, and that's all right behind the 9 of Lucas Abreu. So I think they're going to be trying to take turns and taking their time to try to get around the 9.
Yeah, you see the 1, Matt DeCiani, he's been making up some room, some positions here. He's now up to the 5th position, going to be trying to chase down. I'm sorry, he's up to 6th right now, trying to chase down 5th. The 9 of Lucas Abreu. Now side by side, Derek Heitman slow up on the top side here. That's going to give Clayton Hoffman 2nd place.
Yeah, Heitman probably burned his tires up as well, as you see him slowly finding his place back there with Lucas Abreu. But he's got to get past it to a Mark Padgett, or Padgett has to get past him, just depending on how you look at it or flip it around, I guess.
It seems like Padgett having a little bit of a difficulty trying to get around him here. It looks like he's going to get the run out of 4. Good pass there for that Cat 02.
And now that puts the 9 and the 76 are right back to battling with each other. But instead of for 2nd place, now it's going to be for 4th. The Sheriff, they're going to have close that gap, because he's got Danilo Coelho right behind him, and he's dragging on the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum.
Yeah, Andrew Griesbaum looking really good. Of course, he is in the playoffs. He needs a good finish here tonight to move up. I do believe he is outside of the top 10 in points. As here we go, I think we see Matt DeCiani side by side with the 9 of Lucas Abreu. I tell you what, we could just focus on Lucas Abreu all night long, and I think we'd have plenty of action to watch.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to lose at least a couple positions here, as the 78 of Griesbaum is going to be trying to do the same thing to get on the inside and go around him, because he's got the 4 of Brian Johnson, as well as his brother Chris D. Johnson are right behind him, and they're dragging on the 11 of Don Avery. So these guys are all slowly making their way up here into the top 10, as we are now going to be 15 laps until stage 1 is going to be in the books. And remember, only the top 10 positions pay for points.
That is correct, and you know those points are very, very important to these guys' playoff hopes here. As we see Brian Johnson starting to put some pressure here on the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum.
Back a little bit, catching up to the Abreu, but now he is all the way back up in the 4th place, and seems to be actually defending that position. But look at the lead that the 35 has. I'm not sure if Clean Air is going to be that much of an advantage here, but it looks like it's got to be the case, man. He is putting on a clinic here, and I don't think Clayton Hoffman's probably appreciating that too much.
Oh, and we see the 35 kind of catching a little bit of the wall there. I mean, you could be really quick here, but you know, it's all about consistency. You know, you can't touch that wall too many times, and it's very difficult to turn the same lap over and over again at a track like this. I mean, it is definitely a rhythm track, but it's a rhythm that is very hard to master.
Yeah, the 11 of Donna Avery way down on the inside, and that's going to let the 117 of Thomas O'Hara pass by him. That's going to put O'Hara up in 11th place, and he's going to be trying to consistently close that gap. There's that word again, to track down the 48 of Chris D. Johnson, because we are slowly but surely getting this stage 1 in the books.
Yeah, this thing definitely going by very quick. Wayne Grossi with a little bit of handling conditions. He's going to have to let Jeffrey Souza go. That is for 13th position.
Now, the rate Renato Tamburini is running, he is probably going to catch up to and possibly put the 43 of Paul Olsen a lap down, because we have got almost 10 laps, well, 12 laps remaining here in this stage. And I think at the rate that he is going, he will catch the 43 here sooner than later. But the good news for Olsen, I think if he keeps his nose clean, he might be up for the lucky dog. Gonna have to bet on Mark Sanchez for that right now.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez definitely right now. I mean, he's also probably going to be in danger of going a lap down. I think these guys have just enough time. Maybe not Paul Olsen. I think Olsen is definitely off the pace here. Last lap he hit a 31.3. 60, I do believe, and you know the leader right now is hitting 30.5, so that's almost a second faster right now. But still, you know, the fall off has been great. I mean, you know, Renato has fallen off a second, and you know that's not a surprise here at Darlington. I mean, this place is almost like sandpaper. It burns these tires up so much.
Yeah, but Renato still showing tremendous pace. He's about 1.3 seconds off of his best lap, and his best lap obviously is the best lap of the race, as he has led pretty much every lap of this thing since the green flag did fly. Looks like we are now 10 laps to go. It'll be 9 at the line remaining in this stage.
Let's take a nice cockpit camera here from Renato Tamburini. See what it looks like to turn a lap around this place from the shoes here of the 35.
Also, you look and you'll see that he is actually shifting, going in the fifth gear right here as he is entering the turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, a lot of guys do shift here, and that's another thing that complicates this track even more. But it looks like he's staying in fifth.
And this is about the time that he's going to downshift it, coming in the turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Sorry.
Yeah, 3 and 4 is definitely the place you want to do the downshift, and 1 and 2 you probably don't need to do it. See, he definitely is redlining that thing to try to get as much momentum out of it as he can. As you see, he's catching up to Paul Olson very, very quickly.
Yeah, Paul Olson really doesn't want to see that, but that's just one of the things that you got to contend with. But man, I think as we get through this, when Olson's going to let the leader go by with no problem there, he will be getting his lap back. He will be the lucky dog. Oh, he's going to go down pit road there, Brian. Not sure what that's about.
Yeah, definitely must be struggling. Maybe the tires not behaving the way he'd like here tonight.
Well, generally, when people pit that early out of sequence, I mean, it's usually like they're hanging the helmet up for the evening. I hope that's not the case with the 43. But as green flag racing continues, the 117 of Thomas O'Hara is now occupying that 10th place slot as he was actually able to get around the 48 of Chris D. Johnson. Now he has the other brother Johnson, Brian Johnson, in his sights.
Hey, speaking of Johnson, Chris Johnson right behind him, he's having a battle with Don Avery. Avery on the inside. Oh, Avery gets loose. He does save it. Good save there from the 11 of Don Avery.
Yeah, Avery is definitely getting his road tax out of that car, because he has pretty much been on every bit of the surface of that racetrack here tonight. He's been low, he's been high, man. He just ain't wrecked it yet, so good on him for that.
Kenny Powell now going to be on the inside of him. Powell, of course, was involved in an accident earlier, but doesn't seem like he's letting that hold him back too much as he is starting to try to get through this field here. He's been running some really good times. It looks like he's going to get clear here of Don Avery. But do believe just next time by, we're going to have 5 laps to go here in this stage. And this is such an important track for these stages. I'm sure these guys are glad that they have them, because I mean it's going to be some great time to experiment, figure out what that car is doing wrong, make those adjustments, talk to your crew, figure out what you can do differently, whether it's being driving or make a change to that race car, because this is a track that probably is going to keep changing too as we go on, as the rubber gets laid down.
Yeah, and speaking of that, some of these drivers, it's a boxing match for them. And in round 1, I mean, they just took a whole bunch of headshots. So you're right. They're going to be begging on this caution to come out so they can get down pit road and just stop from getting punched in the face, because it's destroying them. And they got to go back and regroup, make some adjustments, because you wanted to drive it hard in that first stage, but I think a lot of guys burned their stuff up, and we're starting to see this field is really spread out, and that they don't want that going into stage 2, especially not stage 3, Brian.
Kenny Powell's caught up here to Jeffrey Souza. We also see Thomas O'Hara. He has caught up, I do believe, to the 4 of Brian Johnson. Thomas O'Hara's been looking really good, looking like he's right now in the top 10, 10th position, trying to make that a little bit better just to get another extra point there in these playoffs. Definitely been seeing a lot of promise from a lot of these guys. And I think, the reason they get so spread out is because once you start battling, at a track like this, you go side by side, you're slowing down. You're not able to hold the same kind of momentum when you're side by side here at a track like this.
The 76 of Darren Heitman goes by the 02 of Mark Paget. That's going to put Heitman back up in the 3rd place. He had kind of dropped back to almost 5th place, but now Mark Paget kind of feeling a little bit woozy there as we get into the last lap of this stage. And that allowed Heitman to get the drive off, go around him, really kind of uncontested. Now, Matt DeCiani is going to be following suit, seeing if he could possibly do the same thing because he's got the rabbit in his rearview mirror.
That he does, but great job for Derek Heitman to have a little bit of a, seems like his car running in stages in a lot of ways. Seemed like it fell off a little bit in the middle run and then started coming back to him here.
Yeah, absolutely. Pit road closed at this stage is going to be in the books now here momentarily as we are waiting on the 35 and crew to come around.
And he's going to be coming out of 4 for the last time here in this stage, and he's going to cross the line as your Stage 1 winner. Of course, we got to wait for the top 10 positions to cross the line before the caution will come out to signify the end of the stage.
And John Mullins actually able to move up and best both Chris and Brian Johnson. That's going to put him up in that 10th place spot for that carryover position. So he will be the one that we're looking at. And the Stage 1 in the books, Renato Tamburini, your Stage 1 winner, with Clayton Hoffman, P2, Derek Heitman in 3rd, Mark Paget 4th, Matt DeCiani in 5th, Danilo Coelho in 6th, Lucas Abreu 7th, Andrew Griesbaum in 8th, Thomas O'Hara in 9th, and John Mullins rounds out your top 10 points paying positions. With that, let's go ahead and take a step away, get a quick word from our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back, hopefully, with I guess we'll talk to we'll let you know who we're going to talk to when we get back.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we're going to bring up Thomas O'Hara. He definitely had a late stage, I wouldn't say resurgence, but he was coming through the field all day long, it seems like. Got a good car. Do we have him, Mr. Big Al?
He's in here.
Hey.
Thomas, how are you, man? Great job to you, working your way up into 9th there. It seems like you got yourself a good ride underneath you. What are some of the challenges you're having to deal with?
One of the challenges is just guys that are trying to pass everyone in the first couple laps and burn up their stuff, and then you have to pass them later. But yeah, it's fun. We've had a good long run car this week, and just make spots when you can.
Yeah, definitely seems like you got to wait for guys to kind of make mistakes. What are, I know you were talking about guys trying to make passes early. What about some of the difficulties of the track itself? I mean, does it seem very easy to hit the wall? How's the car handling?
Handling pretty good. I'm a little tight, but we'll see how it goes later in the run. If the track cools down, it should free it up a little bit. And I tend to run a little bit farther away from the wall. I don't stripe up my car too bad. And later in the run, I like getting down and hooking the bottom on 3 and 4, and you can make some passes that way.
Definitely very interesting, man. Well, we appreciate you joining us up here just for a moment to kind of get your viewpoint, and great job to you so far. Looks like you even got a position off of pit road. They're going to be starting 8th. Who can we shout out before we let you get back to it?
Triad Racing and Susan Media and Stint Analyzer, my teammates. We do a great job of working together, practicing, setting up track, and setting up the car. So thanks to all of them.
definitely, for sure, man. Well, I think the pace car lights are out this time by, so we'll let you get back to it. Thanks for your time, Thomas.
All right, thanks.
That was Thomas O'Hara. He's right now currently 8th, finished 9th there in that last stage, able to get some much-needed playoff points there as we get ready to get this thing back underway. And that was a fun stage to watch. I'm curious what stage 2 is going to look like here.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, Renato Tamburini will continue doing what he's doing, man. But it's going to be key on just how long it takes him to get started. He's got Clayton Hoffman, I do believe, on this outside down. So it's going to be a drag race between these two guys going into turns 1 and 2. And I think if Tamburini wants to enjoy his leading this thing, he's going to have to best Hoffman going into those turns as well as coming out.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to do essentially what he did on that last restart, try to get a good jump, and, you know, we'll have to see here. His pace car is down pit road. He does exactly that, up through the gears, right on the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, he wastes no time getting going. And, you know, you can do that here in this league because they are not bound by that restart zone. And looks like we get a better start here in stage 2 than we did in stage 1. So far, good to go, green all the way around. Drivers trying to find their position. It looks like we got a little bit of things going on there with Thomas O'Hara in the 64 of Mullins, but they're going to kind of sort that out. And Derek Heitman driving deep from the field this time as he is all the way back into 11th.
Yeah, he is definitely must have had a little bit of a snafu there on pit road. But, yeah, Thomas O'Hara, the one to watch, he has been on the move here. As looks like he is going to be starting to put some pressure on Lucas Abreu. But here comes Heitman as he gets around John Mullins. What a move, as I do believe Heitman now up into 9th. I am curious what happened there on pit road. Maybe a little bit of damage from a Darlington stripe, trying to get that repaired, could be.
Well, I don't know. Looks like the 48 of Chris D. Johnson just disconnected and took a tow. Not sure what happened with that.
Yeah, he is on pit road right now, I do believe.
Yeah, I think he just disconnected.
You hate to see that. He was running really good, too. That is unfortunate. Of course, his brother Brian Johnson keeping the dream alive here. But look at Lucas Abreu running right along the top, inches off of the wall. That's classic Darlington, if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, you can do that, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Eventually, that wall goes, get over here. And it's just going to grab him, pull him in there, and drag him down the side just for a couple, you know, yards, maybe 20, 30 yards, and then it'll kick him right back out.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. I mean, you got to be real careful with that. You have to have a lot of confidence, doing that. I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, some of the best drivers in NASCAR have even a problem running on that wall here at Darlington.
I mean, it's just so tempting, but, you know, it's not forgiving. It's just not forgiving at all. The wall holds you to a standard, period. It does not yield. It does not bend. It curves a little bit, but it
Look at this. We got a big mover here from Andrew Griesbaum. He was able to get around Thomas O'Hara. Now has worked his way up into the 7th position. That Purina 78 looking really strong here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think he might have made some adjustments that he needed. Now he's got to get out there and actually apply that practical application as such and drive the car. You know, and that's what drivers got to do, because this stage right here is going to be that second chance that they're going to get. At the end of this one, though, Brian, I'm afraid that last stage is going to be brutal.
Oh, it very much will be. That will be the longest, the longest trip around this track of the race. I mean, you got to think that the stage ends on 75. That means we have over 100 laps to go until the end in that final stage.
Yeah, that's at least 2 green flag pit stops if they were to actually, if the chips were to fall that way. And man, that's going to be one of the longest runs in a stage that we've had here in the ISCA outside of the 600.
Yeah, definitely is quite a race here. 250 miles around this place. Definitely a long race, but these guys are going to be up for it. I mean, the marathon, I think these guys prepared for it, mentally, physically. I'll tell you what, I guarantee you these guys are going to be covered in sweat by the end of this thing. Because, I mean, even though, this track might not present a lot of times where you have to use heavy braking or anything like that, but still, you're going to be white-knuckling that, that wheel. This is not a track to where you could be loosely holding that wheel, because you want to have full control of that race car.
Yeah, Ronaldo Tamburini not getting that dominating run that he was getting there in stage one here in the second part of in the first part, the second part of stage two. Sorry, he is definitely being held to a higher standard here as he's only got Clayton Hoffman by some 3/10 of a second. So probably not as comfortable as he wants, maybe, but he showed such tremendous pace though during that first stage, and he really didn't fall off a whole lot even towards the end. So not sure what's going on here. Just kind of watching and just seeing what's happening.
Yeah, I think really the explanation for this is, in that first stage, we saw Derek Heitman and Lucas Abreu were fighting each other very, very hard, and that kind of checked up the rest of the field. That's why I think the 35 was able to really get away and have not much of a buffer. So now
Yeah,
that
that
it's
is
just
a
him
good
and
point.
Clayton, I think that is starting to be a whole different battle. I think Lucas is going to have a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah, that is very
I'm sorry,
definitely
Renato.
that is definitely a very good point though, because you were right. The 9 of Abreu and Derek Heitman were battling intently up front, and that did cause the rest of the field to kind of stack up. Probably gave the 35 a little bit of a false sense of dominance there because he's not even turning the fastest lap times right now.
Yeah, and he also maybe learned a little lesson from that last stage. He looked at the tires and he was like, wait a minute, my tire wear is a little bit worse than I really wanted it to be. As we see, I do believe the 4 of Brian Johnson starting to put some pressure here on John Mullins. That is one of the closest battles on the racetrack.
And that battle right there is going to be for 10th place, which is that transfer position for points. Because right now we are 52 laps into this thing. There's some 23 laps left in stage 2.
Such a great track. A lot of history at this place. I mean, it is really one of the crown jewels of NASCAR. And, any of these guys here in the ISCA, this is one that you put that feather in your cap, you're going to show that one off. You want that trophy badly because it shows that, hey, I'm a good driver. Because, I mean, this is a driver's track. This is a track that if you're able to conquer this place, you're in the history books in a lot of ways. Because, I mean, this place, you don't luck into wins here, Big Al.
Yeah, and a lot of drivers, you ask them, hey, do you like Darlington? And they say, I don't like it because I don't know which Darlington we're going to get. But I was talking to Kenny Powell here a little bit before the race, and he actually said, hey, you know what, Big Al, I like the Darlington we got here this week. So I think a lot of drivers are liking what was brought to us and gifted it to us by the iRacing guys.
Oh!
And it's actually
the 35 into the wall. That's going to...
He's going to come down into the 92 there a little bit, kind of run Clayton Hoffman down.
Yeah, that causes a change for the lead, so a little bit of a mistake. And that's all it takes for for someone just dragging on that wall. Takes away all your momentum.
Didn't we talk about that? Were we just talking about what happens when you run up against the wall like that?
Yeah, and he's been doing it all race long, but definitely liking what I'm seeing, though. I mean, like you said, Kenny Powell liking this version, because sometimes they might add a little, grip strip or something somewhere on this track, but it looks like this is just classic Darlington through and through right now. Yeah, hate to see that for Renato, but luckily he didn't lose that much. He's going to be under a little bit of pressure here from Mark Pageant. Pageant's been doing really good here, very consistent tonight, that's for sure. He definitely looking to get some solid points here. Now, heck, if I was in Mark Pageant's shoes, third place would not be a bad day. Of course, we have a long, long, long way to go.
You need to say that about 2 more times.
Long.
Yes, we have an extremely long way to go. We're nowhere even near halfway through this thing. So drivers definitely got to try to find their patience. We're halfway through this thing.
Derek Heitman just made the pass there on John Mullins, moving himself up to 9th place. Heitman going to be trying to work here to get up to Thomas O'Hara. I'll tell you what, I mean, this really shows you how much track position means to these guys out here, just considering we saw Heitman start closer to the front and was able to battle, for second place for a while there. But as soon as he lost all that track position, he has, has been struggling. I mean, look at here comes Mullins going to try to do a crossover, not able to get there, though.
Well, yeah, he has definitely kind of held up here in the pack a little bit, and I don't know if that's Andrew Griesbaum or what, but, you kind of get in traffic, and I think that's kind of where these guys are, not being able to navigate around each other, because this is one of the most difficult tracks in the series to pass on. Now the 76 is going to get around the 117 of Thomas O'Hara, but here comes O'Hara with the crossover right there. He's going to be on the inside, just pinching Heitman just that much more, and it makes it just not fun when you got somebody pinching you up against the wall like that.
Yeah, and it looks like Thomas O'Hara loses that position and more. There goes John Mullins getting around him, and now looks like he's going to fall right in front of Jeffrey Souza there. Oh, looks like he's going to get loose again. Thomas O'Hara down the racetrack.
He's got to get back up top because, the more you bend that car down low, the tighter it's going to get, and it's just not going to roll out good for you, So he's kind of got to get back in his rhythm, if you will, and get back up to that pace because for whatever reason right there, it kind of threw him a whole second back off the pace there.
Yeah, definitely hard to get that momentum back. You could see that, one little bobble and he lost a whole second and lost a whole bunch of positions. That's one thing about this track too. It's, you make a mistake like that, you're going to get passed by everybody and their mother because, everybody knows how important that track position is. So as soon as they see a door open, they're going to go through it.
Yeah, absolutely. 15 laps to go in this stage. Clayton Hoffman now out to a lead in front. His first lead of the night, and now he has already extended that lead by greater than a second. Over second place to 35 Ronaldo Tamburini, who all but dominated that first stage if you're just joining us. But now stage two is a whole different story. As Clayton Hoffman now is getting his chance up front. And speaking of that, the 76 of Derek Heitman has now made it around the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum. And that's going to open it up for him a little bit, maybe allow him to extend his position and possibly get back up into at least the top five before the stage is over.
Yeah, problems as we see Andrew Griesbaum gets into the wall. Luckily, he's able to keep that thing together, but Derek Heitman has a little bit to go until he gets up there to Matt DeCiani. A couple seconds separate these drivers as we start to spread out here. Speaking of which, Lucas Abreu, he's sitting right now in fifth place. He's got about almost 2 seconds there in between him and DeCiani, so definitely some different pace out here.
Yeah, this is about the time that in that first stage that Abreu started to kind of actually drift back. So I'm going to be kind of watching him to see where he actually comes out at the end of this stage, if he can actually maintain that fifth place position. But the 14 of Jeffrey Souza makes his way up into the top 10 for the first time tonight.
Looks like Griesbaum is struggling really, really badly. He keeps hitting the wall. That's going to give an opportunity here to John Mullins as they're side by side.
They got to pull this pass off, though, because it's going to be real tight coming through here. I think Griesbaum might have burned his stuff up a little bit too much. The excitement of being up into the top 10, it sometimes can actually weigh on a driver a little bit as he makes a little bit more incidental contact with the wall.
And that's the one thing about it. You can only hit that wall, but so many times before it starts almost acting like there's a magnet on there. I mean, he keeps touching the wall. I'm sure that's maybe affecting his suspension or handling and causing him to hit it even more. I mean,
yeah, because it goes back to that heavyweight fight. These guys, this is a heavyweight fight. So you keep getting punched in the jaw like that. Unfortunately, most of these cars don't have a strong jaw, and that toe link will break.
Yeah, and that is not something you want to see, that's for sure, at a track like this. Very hard to limp your way back down to pit road when something like that happens. Probably end up having to take a tow, and that could be cause of cause. Oh, Thomas O'Hara gets really loose out of 4 here as we see the battle on as this is for the 10th spot. Brian Johnson trying to take it away. As we're now 66 laps into this thing.
I think Johnson was trying to preserve it, but the 117, I think, is just going to take it. And that's going to be that last transfer spot here, Brian. And we are getting ready. We're fewer than 10 to go in this stage, so it's time to boogie.
Man, look at Griesbaum. He is all out of sorts. He's going to need some major adjustments to that race car.
And this is the time to make those adjustments because the next run is going to be a long run. Barring a bunch of cautions, which we've only had one so far tonight outside of the stage race caution. So that means you got to set that car up for the long run because you're going to have to run 53 laps out of this thing.
Kenny Powell gets into the outside wall there on the in the middle of 3 and 4 there. As he's going to try to get around Griesbaum here. Saw Don Avery just make the pass. moves himself up to, I do believe, 12th place.
Powell back up to 14th, though. That's pretty good, as he was all the way down there in 21st place, either having that contact that he had made with Mark Sanchez and JC Nobrega on lap 2.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't even think that was lap 2. I think that was on the first lap going into turn 1. They weren't even up to speed when that accident happened, and Kenny Powell dealing with the hand that was dealt to him. He's not gonna give up, and you gotta love that. You love that kind of spirit from some of these drivers out here. They're not gonna give up. Oh, huge hit for Grease Bomb on the outside wall. I think eventually he's gonna hit it one more time, too many times, and I think he's almost at that limit right now, Big Al.
Yeah, and he's got Wayne Grossi now. Looks like he's going to be coming up along the inside of him. Wayne Grossi trying to make his way up into the top 15 here tonight for the first time as well. And behind Grossi and Greasebomb now, you'll have the 88 car of Val Keselowski.
Here comes Jeffrey Souza. He's trying to make a pass here on John Mullins. This is for the 8th place position. Souza, he has definitely been consistent here so far tonight. He has just been trying to keep his head down and move through the field one at a time.
Yeah, I talked to Souza before the race, and he said that was exactly going to be his strategy, almost verbatim. He said he was going to make good decisions. He was going to try to conserve and just try to get his car set up for the long run. But
oh, no!
He's drifting around, actually able to keep it going, but now way down to the inside, still not out of danger yet.
Yeah, he almost lost that thing completely, was drifting it through turn 1 and 2 there. As now here comes Brian Johnson. So apparently we just jinxed Jeffrey Souza. I don't know.
No, we didn't. I think he heard us and he got so excited that his tail started wagging.
It did, didn't it? That's funny.
Yeah, Jeffrey Souza, the Souza Media Company, man, he does a lot for his team and those guys down there. So yeah, good to see him able to pull through that spin, if you will, then and keep going. But Kenny Powell, look at him. He's all the way up to 12th now.
Yeah, he has been making hay when the sun shines. I mean, he just got by Don Avery, and he's got himself a hot rod underneath him as he is working on trying to get up into the top 10 here. And I think he's got a chance to do it here. Souza getting passed by Brian Johnson.
Yeah, and Powell going to be trying to be right there with him. They kind of got Souza in a little bit of a Souza sandwich, and I know he really can't appreciate that because both those two guys around him are G&G guys. And at this point, I think he's just probably not wanting to get punched in the face a little bit and try to get this stage done, as it will be done here. The leader will be at the lap, and at the line, it will be the end of the stage. Will be the white flag for the stage, rather.
Yep, I do believe next time by, white flag for the second stage will be coming out here as Clayton Hoffman with a tremendous lead, 2.3 seconds on Renato Tamburini. Definitely good recovery from Tamburini, though. I mean, he's not out of this thing by a long shot. I mean, he did hit the wall earlier, but he's been, steadily keeping that gap around 2.4 seconds.
Is Powell now running to the inside of Jeffrey Souza? To be trying to get that 11th place position away from him, that is good, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get him a point here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But, I mean, still, you got to win battles when you can. I mean, even though he might not get any playoff points from this stage here, he's going to get valuable track position that's going to set him up for this final stage.
Yeah, all the way back up to 11th place has to be after being on the cusp of going a lap down. So he's got to feel pretty good about that. It looks like stage 2 is going to be here coming to a close here at the end. Clayton Hoffman, though, going to be your stage 2 winner.
Renato Tamburini going to finish in second place. Lucas Abreu third. Fourth place, Danilo Coelho. Fifth place, Mark Pageant. Sixth place, Derek Heitman. Seventh, Matt DeCiani. Eighth place, John Mullins. Ninth place, Thomas O'Hara. And rounding out our top 10 points paying positions here is Brian Johnson. Definitely a great job to all the drivers out there so far. It's been a heck of a race here at Darlington. We'll have to take a quick step away here, and we'll find out who we're going to be talking to after stage 2. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe Big Al is going to be speaking with our Stage 2 winner, Clayton Hoffman.
Clayton Hoffman, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, congratulations on that Stage 2 victory. Stage 1 seemed to be a little bit out of your reach for whatever reason, man. Looks like I can't remember the guy's name there. Renato Tamburini was running away with it there, but here's Stage 2. You kind of hit the wall, and you were actually able to take that lead and not look back. So how's that car running of yours tonight?
We are very tight, overheating the right front, and it is absolutely destroying my pace. So I wasn't able to make adjustments for the race. So we are very tight, trying to work on it, but there's only so much I can do in the race.
How's that going to work out for you in the long run? I think you're going to have to nurse it a little bit more. You think it's going to kind of play out in your favor?
If we go green, it's going to play in my favor just because I can back off the short run, let some guys that really want to push hard, like Renato was at second stage, push hard. They can race each other, and then I can pass them when I have an advantage. But it's definitely going to hurt me short run.
Yeah, you definitely did that. Looks like you were just kind of playing your cards there, watching, because the two cars in front of you were battling pretty intently there. It seems like you were just waiting on the opportunity. And now that you're out front, what's the advantage of clean air here on this track tonight?
It's pretty much helping the car turn on entry, which will help keep my right front cooler. So hopefully I can maintain first place here this first run. If not, I'm definitely going to have to save a lot.
Well, all right, man. Looks like the lights are off on the caution car. We're going to let you get back to it here, but who will give it a mini shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out to Legacy Esports, all sponsors. Those guys are running a Road to Pro at Darlington right now. I don't think we had anybody leading when I checked before the race started, but I know we had some guys moving up through the field, so they should be pretty fast. Hopefully one or two of them can get to the front and battle for a win.
All right, sir. Thank you for your time, and good luck.
Thank you.
Now was Clayton Hoffman, our leader right now here. Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get this thing back underway here as we start the final stage. Have a little over 100 laps left to go here, so still a lot of racing. But this thing has been flying right on by. I have no doubts that we're going to blink and the race is going to be over here. But I know that the race is probably going to take an eternity for these guys down on the racetrack. I'll tell you that, because this is a place that time seems to go a little bit slower when you're under all the amount of stress this place puts on you. Clayton Hoffman, though, up through the gears a little early. Really good start, though, from the 9. Lucas Abreu, he got going really quick. Side by side into turn 1. Derek Heitman also making some positions up here. And side by side, look at this. Abreu up on the top. He's got a chance for the lead here.
I think, but Hoffman said it right. Oh, and Heitman slams into the back of Abreu. That's the same thing that happened there on lap 2, except without as much contact. Luckily, everybody in the rest of the field are able to get caught up. Nobody getting too out of shape there. Kenny Powell now making his way up into the top 10 for the first time tonight. He's got to feel pretty good about that since the start.
You see Derek Heitman definitely ultra aggressive right now, trying to get up to the back of the 9, but that front end damage probably not going to help him at all as they had some contact. There comes Kenny Powell, going to try to go on the inside of John Mullins. I mean, he is on the move, that 24.
Yeah, obviously got his damage and woes fixed there. Not trying to get his car up into the conversation, but Clayton Hoffman doing just what he said now. Out front, and he's going to take it easy. He's going to try to save those tires, and right now I think everybody's just going to be trying to make the fuel run, because the longer you stretch this thing out, if you can make it 55 laps, 56 laps, now you're possibly getting into definitely only having to stop one time.
100%. And I was just looking at the pit times here down pit road. Renato Tamburini was up in the second place before the end of stage 2, and then when we came back out here for this final stage, he spent I do believe 26.2 seconds down pit road, probably fixing some damage that caused him to fall all the way back into 8th.
Well, all of that damage that he incurred once he smacked that wall and rode it for that 15, 20 yards that he did, that's what caused him to stay down pit road as long. Now, his car was a rocket ship with that damage, so getting it repaired, I think now he's just got to be smart. He's got to race this race. A lot of these guys are going to fall off, and you see Tamburini right now coming up on the back of Mark Paget, and he is going to be trying to get out of 8th place and get back up to the front. But the key is these drivers, you got to be patient, man. Conservation. I don't think we're going to be able to say that enough. The guys that save their tires the best, Brian, those are going to be the guys we're going to be talking about later on.
No, yeah, I think you're 100% right. I mean, these are going to be the longest runs we've seen all night long. As here we see, I do believe John Mullins trying to get underneath. Oh, problems! Almost gets loose.
Yeah, he is smashing that rabbit right there. Danilo Coelho there in Mullins definitely battling it out there for position.
Yeah, he's going to move up to 4th. What a race for the 64 tonight.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Rabbit, he is going to have Kenny Powell going to be coming up on his rear here pretty soon, wanting to challenge him for even 5th position.
Yeah, this is one of the best performances we've seen from that 64 of John Mullins. He's already even starting to put some pressure here on the 76. We got a nice train of cars here, all right there up on top of each other, waiting for someone to make a mistake.
Or they're just waiting on lap, on 25 laps on these tires. Because I think once we hit about a lap 100 in this thing, we're going to start to see a different race than what we got right now.
Yeah, 100%. And, Clayton Hoffman even said it. He said, a lot of these guys are going to try to come up here and they're going to try to battle hard. They're going to be, have that short run pace, but they're going to be sacrificing their long run. So could that be what's happening here with John Mullins as he's starting to really put the pressure on the 76 right on the back bumper right now? And that, of course, is for 3rd place. And here he comes on the inside. He's going to try to make that pass on the 76. Oh, really close, pinching him up to the wall. Look at Kenny Powell. Big moves on the 22 as they head into 1. I'm telling you, it really is just like that into turn 1 and 2. It is a game of chicken. Who's going to lift? That's what it essentially is.
Yeah, Powell definitely not getting the run that he wanted off that turn. He was actually getting ready to throttle 2, but got stuck right there in the back of the 76, and that caused him to check up just a little bit, which is going to save the 76 from being passed by the 24 here for at least another lap.
Yeah, he has worked his way up into the top 5, though. So, I mean, little victories here, just considering, the way he started out this race. Definitely did not seem like he, would have the speed to do it, just considering, getting involved in that accident with Sanchez and, JC Nobrega earlier. Oh, a little touch with the wall, but not too bad. Just a little Darlington stripe, never hurt nobody. As we see, I do believe Matt DeCiani trying to battle with Mark Paget there. That's for 8th place.
Yeah, Patch's been doing everything. I mean, he is like a duck right there underwater. He is just treading, man, doing everything he can to get that float, but he is being attacked from every angle, not even catching a break here tonight.
Yeah, here comes DeCiani trying to go underneath. And look at that. I mean, look at Renato Tamburini. He's made his way up into, I do believe, 6th place. Just got around Danilo Coelho.
But I think Renato actually burned up a lot of his tires trying to get around that traffic because, he started this stage in 11th place. So I think he doesn't have as much charisma left, I think, in those tires as he had a little bit. I think he might have burned them up a little bit more than he wanted to trying to get through traffic.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have a whole lot of resources left on that tire. He's going to have to hope. He's going to have to take it easy now.
Did I just say his tires had charisma?
Yeah, you did, but I wasn't going to say anything.
I like that, though. I like it. Halfway through this thing here, Clayton Hoffman continues to lead the field. He has got himself an almost 0.7 of a second lead over second place Lucas Abreu, who has an even bigger lead over third place of John Mullins. These two guys doing everything they need to do. I think once we get to about a lap 100, we'll start to see, That's when we're going to know if guys are going to be able to make it 50 laps or not. They got to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, I think, they got to make it even a little bit even further than that. I mean,
Yeah, they
depends
should
on,
be
we
sitting.
could see guys even, maybe do like you said, pit twice just because of how wore the tires out, or could we see just a one stop? I think fuel, I don't know if they can, it's going to be really close.
The fuel thing, they're going to have to stop unless they can stretch it greater than that 53. If they can turn that 53 into a 56 or a 57, some guys might be able to stop once for fuel, but I just don't think anybody's going to be able to do that just on tires alone, Brian.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Darlington you see a lot. You lose so much time on the long run that, you really, it almost is a benefit to grab them tires, even though you're going to be wasting some time on pit road. You gain it all back just by your on track speed.
Yeah, Renato Tamburini trying to get around a 24 Opal. They're making a little bit of contact. That's going to put 35 down a little bit low, but he is going to battle back up to the top of the track. And looks like he is going to take that position away from Powell, and that will put him back up into the top 5.
Powell trying to have a little bit of a battle back here on the inside. Oh, a little bit of a loose condition as the 22 gets up to the rear end, side-by-side version on 3 wide there for a moment.
And that caused Powell to actually lose one slot, almost 2, as he allowed Matt DeCiani to get by him, and Mark Paget was trying to sneak right in the back door as well.
Yeah, this is a track to where, a lot of guys like to, a lot of tracks you can kind of just keep your head down, be real careful and stuff like that. But this is a track to where you have to have some sort of aggression, in your system, because otherwise guys are just they're gonna make moves on you, and there's not a lot you can do. I mean, they're gonna rough you up, if you will. You know what I mean? I mean, people are gonna push you around at Darlington.
As Dale said, but I didn't mean to wreck him. I just gonna rattle his cage a little bit.
Well, people are gonna try to rattle your cage here at Darlington. I mean, think about it, though, Big Al. I mean, the track itself rattles your cage.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could ask Renato Tamburini about that.
I mean, this track, I would say, your main opponent isn't even the cars you're racing. It really is the track itself. I mean, it's the enemy.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yeah, you're probably not going to commentate Big Al racing around this track, but I will commentate others because this isn't my track. I mean, I'm just being honest with you.
Side by side is look at that. Renato Tamburini able to take over 4th place. Heitman back up into 3rd again, as it looks like Mullins maybe burned his equipment up. As look at that. Even here comes DeCiani. So Mullins off the pace quite a bit here.
See, the key, these guys, when they get up there, they're trying to keep up with the guy in front, and sometimes that's just a recipe for burning your stuff up. You got to run your own race, your own pace, especially at a track like this, man. Now 3 wide, Powell coming down on the inside there, thinking better of it. He's going to let DeCiani go on by the 64.
Oh, yeah, he definitely thought better of it. He was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. 3 wide usually does not work at a track like Darlington, that's for sure.
Hey, if he'd do it, I'd call it.
I mean, it could work. I mean, maybe, this is a track that sometimes can reward when you have a set of cojones on you.
I ain't going to say it's going to work. I'm just saying I'll call them all the way through it.
I mean, it'll be exciting for us. Maybe not
Yep.
I mean, we'll love it all day. I won't be mad at Kenny.
Yeah, my blood pressure won't go up. I'll even get a little bit excited for the folks at home. Wayne Grossi now got that 7 Pennzoil Chevrolet up into the top 10 here for the first time tonight. That's got to be feeling pretty good for him because this is that long run. Like I said, once we get around the lap 100, we're going to start to see how these guys' shoes are going to be fitting their feet. Some of these guys, their shoes ain't going to be feeling pretty good, Brian, and they're going to be wanting to take a knee or just go over there and just take them off. But some of these guys, they set their cars up for the long run. Like Hoffman said, if this thing could go green, the long runs are going to be in his favor, and we're halfway through just that right now.
Yeah, these guys now 24 laps on their tires. So they're going to be definitely starting to feel the pressure and that tire wear. Oh, Don Avery, huge hit on the wall there.
Yeah, about lap 25, that's when these cars kind of get a little haywire and start running into the wall. And look at Grossi dropping way down on the inside there.
Yeah, I think he just didn't want to have any part of those guys behind him, way off the pace there. Let a lot of guys go, as that puts, I do believe, Thomas O'Hara up into 10th now.
And now Clayton just has to be cognizant of his tire temperatures, man, and not try to burn that right rear off of that thing. And I think he's just going to do that, and he'll be okay.
We got passing up here towards the front here. We see Danilo Coelho able to get by Kenny Powell. John Mullins barely hanging on here to 6th place. Here comes the 22 on the inside. Oh, really close. A little bit of door banging. There it is. Caution's going to come out right in front of Kenny Powell. Big contact, big incident there. The 22 taking the most of the damage, I do believe. Let's take a look back at that.
What do you do? I'm staying out.
I don't know. I mean, you got 5 sets of tires in the pits. I think I go down.
Yeah, but that 5 sets is gonna weigh a little bit thin, isn't it?
Oh, and look at this. You see Mullins into the outside wall. I do believe that was definitely somewhat of a racing incident there. I think Kenny Powell got out of that without too much damage, but John Mullins and Danilo definitely picking up quite their fair share. You know, I just think that those guys were leaning on each other a little too hard there, Big Al.
Everybody's coming down pit road.
And that's the thing, you're going to see that a lot as this race goes, further and further. Guys are going to lean on each other. And, sometimes you lean on someone, you lean on them a little too much, and problems happen, as we see Danilo actually staying out here. Also, Jeffrey Souza, I do believe, has decided to stay out. But with that caution, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Let's talk to DCR. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we're going to be joined in the booth by Matt DeCiani. Definitely a great run for you here so far. Looking pretty good. You were able to make some passes there a little bit later in that run. Were you mad or happy to see that caution come out?
It's kind of disappointed per se, because we definitely have good long run speed, and it's just kind of maintaining there, and really wasn't even pushing it, and we're starting to run down some cars. So kind of disappointed in that, but now it kind of changes it to we still got to stop, so it's going to be 2 short runs here.
Yeah, definitely. You guys were looking to have a long run there. Still quite a ways to go here in the race. I mean, how's the track treating you? I mean, how's the handling of the car been changing as the track's cooled down? We see it starting to get a little darker out there.
Yeah, definitely. It was very, very slick when it was, the sun was more out. But yeah, it's definitely starting to grip up, and some of the lines I like to run in 3 and 4 are really starting to come in nicely now.
Now, I got to ask, this next gen versus, I'd say, the Gen 6, does it make Darlington easier or harder, would you say?
I think it's easier because you could hit the wall a few times and it not kill your car like it did with the Gen 6.
Well, that's definitely interesting for sure, man. We appreciate you coming up here. Hopefully we might be able to talk to you a little bit later. It looks like you're going to be restarting here in 5th. Who can we shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to ButtKicker for sponsoring the series. Thanks to you guys up in the booth. Shout out to EPI. We got a good set this week.
All right. Appreciate your time there, Matt. We'll see you at the end of this thing, hopefully.
Thanks, guys.
That was Matt DeCiani, the 1 car, sitting right now in 5th as we see the pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get this thing back underway. And interesting, him saying that, didn't really like that caution coming out. A lot of guys, I think, probably were hoping for it, but DeCiani, not one of them.
No, I don't think so, man. It was only 20. That's the shortest run that we've had here, man. So I think that just killed everybody's plan and everybody's momentum. So instead of actually getting that long 50 plus, 50 lap run now, you got to break. You're going to have 240 lap runs. So I think it folds the whole process of setting the cars up.
Here we go, though. Green flag going to be coming back out, and Clayton waiting a little bit later to go green that time by. Side by side for second place, you see Derek Heitman in the 9 of Lucas Abreu battling. Heitman gets a huge run on the inside.
Heitman gets super strong runs on that inside like that. Then if nobody's in front of him, he can carry it through. But here lately, he has been running into, traffic. So, but now to 35, Ronaldo Tamburini's up in fourth. He doesn't have to go through 11 cars to get back up to Clayton. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of pace he's actually able to keep.
Well, that's the thing, too. I mean, in that first stage, we saw he had some really significant short-run pace. And, could he utilize that right now? But the thing is about it, we were just talking to DeCiani, the track has changed. I mean, it's cooling down out there, Big Al. I mean, what's the temperature on the racetrack?
Yeah, right now the racetrack temperature is 85 degrees. So really, it's still right where we were at. I think we were 87 once we started the race. So the winds, though, is still 13 miles per hour is going to be out of the south right now.
And that definitely 13 mile an hour, quite a little bit of a gust there that could definitely affect the handling depending on which corner, you're entering.
Yeah, absolutely. With wind gusts that significant, it will definitely affect the car. It's going to affect you on the front stretch or the back stretch. I guarantee you that, one or the other. There's just no way that you're going to get around it.
And these two have been battling all race long. You see them on your screen right now, Derek Heitman and Lucas Abreu. I think they got magnets on their car, one that says 76 and one that says 9.
But these cars are made out of carbon fiber, though. Composite.
Well, I don't know. There's some type of magnet that's drawing these cars together. See, John Mullins has worked his way up into 5th, got around Matt DeCiani. How long will that last? I mean, we saw Mullins was really quick on the short run, and that last caution could, play in his favor.
Well, it's definitely going to be at someone's detriment and someone's favor. So, that's going to be the key. Just got to try to turn those unfortunate circumstances like that to your favor. And sometimes that's hard to do on a track like this. Clayton Hoffman is suffering from the same kind of problems initially as he's got Heitman really kind of got him dialed in right now. And I don't know. Hoffman's got the speed. We know that at any time he could actually just kind of run away with it. But for right now, the guys behind him showing tremendous pace.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely heartbreaking, though, for Kenny Powell, who was involved in that last accident. He is now all the way back there in 14th. He spent 27 seconds on pit road trying to get some substantial damage fixed on that machine. So could have been a very good point stay for him. And just, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, nothing really he could have done there, just considering, we saw some heavy battling with Danilo and I do believe Mullins.
Yeah, he was just at Darlington.
I'm surprised Mullins as fast as he is, Big. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Mullins was heavily involved in that crash and somehow is still out here running in 5th. Definitely quite a surprise. I mean, that his car didn't sustain, damage that would affect his handling. But I don't know, though. DeCiani is starting to put some pressure back on him. Here comes DeCiani on the inside, challenging for 5th place. Goes down there below the apron just a tiny bit to try to get side by side, and it looks like he's going to manage to do it. One thing that's really crazy about this track is, the apron is so large and the racing surface so narrow. Oh, they are fighting hard. Mullins desperate to hold on to that position as they are going to go side by side into 1 and 2. And you see Pageant, he's going to be trying to say, hey, where do I go here? Hopefully nothing goes wrong.
Yes, Andrew Greasebomb slides are right by the Speedway Angels 88 of Al Koslowski. That was going to put him up into 15th place. Jeffrey Souza's all the way back now in 14th place. Remember, he was up into the top 10 there a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, he definitely was. Seems like he has also been somewhat on the struggle bus here tonight. Definitely was quick earlier, try to keep his head down, but unfortunately it seems like does not seem to be working. But here comes Al Kozlowski, going to be trying to battle back on the 78.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Brian, since we were 66 laps to go, let's run through the order real quick. Clayton Hoffman's your leader with Derek Heitman in second. Lucas Abreu third. Renato Tamburini fourth. Matt DeCiani running in fifth. John Mullis currently running in sixth place. Mark Paget in seventh. Thomas O'Hara's found himself in eighth with Brian Johnson in ninth. Don Avery rounds out your top 10.
11th place going to belong to Wayne Grossi. 12th place Mark Sanchez. 13th Kenny Powell. 14th Jeffrey Souza. 15th Andrew Griesbaum. 16th Al Kozlowski. 17th Randy Drumhiller. 18th Andrew Layton, I should say. And 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd are all out of the race cars. That includes Danilo Coelho, who was involved in that accident earlier. He is out of the race car, so unfortunate. That's just what happens. When you're battling hard. It looks like Clayton Hoffman's starting to pull away a little bit here. He has about a half a second lead on Derek Heitman, but Heitman's soon to have to deal with the 9 once again, as the 9 has started catching back up to him.
Yeah, these guys are definitely going to have to try to figure this out right now. There are 15 laps on the stint. And if the cars are, and Clayton said himself, his car was set up more for a longer run. And, when you kind of, with that caution, man, that really did kind of change the dynamics of this race tremendously.
Very much so. I mean, it changed the dynamics pretty wildly, but I think we still could end up seeing a green flag pit stop, barring we don't see another caution here, which that's going to be really a key factor here. The running order we're seeing right now could be completely different depending on how these guys behave on pit road. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, and I haven't said it quite enough here tonight. Pit road here, this is one of the hardest, pit roads to navigate in NASCAR. Very easy to miss it. I mean, you really have to slow down right on the entry of turn 3 and get down there below the apron early. And if you try to do it, late, you could just miss it altogether.
Yeah, don't be late. Wayne Grossi now battling. He is coming up on his teammate there, the 31 of Mark Sanchez, also running with Jeffrey Souza.
Yeah, side by side. Looks like that is for 14th right now. Souza has moved up to 13th.
They're not teammates. Yeah, I'm sorry. Grossi and Sanchez are not teammates. Oh,
look at that.
Into the 31. That's going to cause a huge checkup, and actually it also caused Griesbaum to get run into the back of Al Kozlowski.
Yeah, luckily that didn't turn out worse than it did. I mean, that could have been the caution that a lot of these guys did not want to see.
Yeah, because the caution now would do no one any good. 60 laps to go, still not even in the fuel window yet.
Griesbaum able to try to hold off Al Kozlowski, but Kozlowski under fire from Sanchez. Sanchez probably a man on a mission after almost getting turned there. It looks like Kozlowski trying to protect that position. It's not going to last long, though. Here comes Mark Sanchez on the inside. He's going to be able to make that pass look easy.
Further up in the field, Brian Johnson slowly closing that gap. He is trying to reel in John Mullins.
Yeah, it looks like Mullins kind of has lost a little bit of the pace, and it could be as a result of that damage he received whenever he was in that accident earlier. But Johnson has been slow and steady tonight. I mean, he's been taking care of his equipment. Haven't seen him in any major, things here. How long do you think he might have hit the wall here so far tonight? But we'll have to see if he turns up the heat now. So he's sitting right there in 8th. Now going to be trying to go underneath and battle for 7th as they go into turn 1.
Yeah, Johnson definitely trying to make it stick. But once this driver's starting to get on that inside, that car gets a lot tighter, and that makes it a little bit harder to pull that pass off. And that's the reason why you see those guys actually stretching those runs out a lot longer like that. Those passes don't happen quite as fast as you think they would. Is Johnson still battling on the inside of the 64? Mullins actually going to survive this time as Johnson falls back up in behind him on the high line.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about it here. You know, if you're going to make a pass, you better make sure that you get it done. Otherwise, you're going to fall right into the hands of someone else here. I mean, you saw that with Johnson there trying to go underneath Mullins and was not able to get the pass actually completed and almost fell right into the hands there of Thomas O'Hara.
Yeah, we've seen that happen to numerous drivers here tonight doing that exact same thing where, you know, you kind of get so fixated on trying to make that pass stick on the inside, can't pull it off, and then you find yourself sliding the way back. But speaking of that, Clayton Hoffman now out to a very decisive 1.7 second lead. But guess what? Derek Heitman has now been caught by the 35 of Ronaldo Tamburini. And we're going to see if Tamburini can make that pass, if he is still going to have that pace that he needs to be able to be competitive with Clayton Hoffman here this evening.
Yeah, Tamburini now starting to put pressure on that 76. There he goes on the inside, side by side, as they exit turn 4. And it looks like Tamburini, not able to get clear. It looks like that's going to help Heitman. Oh, there he goes, turned down onto the apron, and he's going to slide back onto the racetrack.
And
Yellow flag.
And Derek Heitman's race. You know, Heitman's a very aggressive guy. He's we've talked about it before. He's not really been in the series that long. And most times he's actually had a strong car, been a solid contender for a top 5, Brian, and just kind of something like that just kind of takes him out.
Yeah, I want to look at this accident here. I think it was just good, hard racing. See the 76 up on the top. Just a little too close for comfort. I mean, those guys were right on each other. I wouldn't really put that on either one of these drivers. I'd say that they were just racing hard.
Well, yeah, that's great if it's like 2 laps to go, but, you know, not with 53 laps to go. But speaking of that, we are inside the field window, so I would definitely think that we will be seeing the majority of these drivers coming down pit road right now, and they will be getting gas and go, and this should actually be the last pit stop of the race.
Yeah, now that will make it to where these guys will have to do a full fuel run. So those guys that were, you know, wanting to have a longer run, if it goes green from here, they will get their their way.
Yeah, definitely. If you got a car that's set up for the long run, that's the adjustments you need to make now, and just hope that we can get this field spread out enough that we can actually not have another caution here for the end of this thing. But with that, let's step away and get another quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Hey, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and I think we got Derek Heitman up in the booth. Derek Heitman is Big Al. You got me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Man, he had a rocket ship. You definitely looked like you were going to be in the conversation down here to the wire on this thing. What happened?
Oh, douchebags. You don't want to get me started, dude. I mean, just absolutely. These guys call themselves our teammates, and race around with the same logos on their cars, and then they think because they're from another country they can just blame netcode, and it's absolutely ridiculous, dude. That was not netcode. He's sitting here apologizing. Listen, you guys probably didn't want to pull me up here. I'm hot right now.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we have to kind of take into consideration. This is a very competitive sport, and this is live. So sometimes when you're live, things like that happen. It does kind of, get the best of drivers. But, you made your trip to the infield care center, and obviously we're going to have to go back and take a review of this. But, I just hate it for you tonight because you're strong through the first two stages. It seems to be a recurring theme with you, though. You're just not quite able to bring it home here in this last couple of races. But, man, who you shouting out to tonight before we let you go?
Shout out Michael Conti and EPI for making us a rocket ship this week, because this thing is it's on rails, and it will save tires like no one's business. And I tell you what, if this would have went green, I was about to eat Clayton's lunch. I was coming. I was matching lap times with him after checking my tires right there after that long, 24 lap stint. 91 on the rights. I was going to have it, dude. I'm telling you. I sacrificed myself in stage 1 to fix damage, fought myself all the way back up to second to get taken out by some guy. They can't even apologize in English. It's ridiculous.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you coming up here tonight and making it an exciting evening for us.
I hope you enjoyed the interview. Sorry for being a hothead.
No, man. Congratulations to you for getting the Hothead Award of the evening, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, well, that was Derek Hyman. Looks like we're getting ready to get this thing back underway. The pace car down pit road. Clayton Hoffman going to have the field in hand. He waits till the last second right into the Geico restart zone.
Transferred back, please.
A lot of racing going on deep in the pack. See some side-by-side action. You see Don Avery trying to pass here Andrew Griesbaum. This is for 12th place. Definitely some hectic battling. Look at Heitman go. He's back up trying to get through the field once again. Man on a mission. Clayton Hoffman, though, right now in the lead. Got about almost 4/10 here on Renato Tamburini. But here comes Tamburini. He is on the move. He has gone up and down through this field all day today, but looks like he is going to try to put, that speed to Clayton Hoffman here.
Yeah, because right now he doesn't have to get through anybody. So this is going to be a battle between the 92 and the 35. If the 35 can conserve his tires or the 92 conserves his tires, that's going to be who's the winner of this thing. I mean, honestly, let's just look at it for what it is. Barring another caution, it's going to be a tire battle between the 92 of Clayton Hoffman and the 35 of Renato Tamburini.
Yeah, I definitely will be trying to take care of that equipment. Even it's going to be a long run. I mean, to the end, barring, like you said, we don't have a caution here. So you see the 35 not really pushing the issue on the 92, and I think that he's doing that on purpose. He's wanting to, kind of conserve here. But then again, I mean, there could be a different strategy there. Stay on the back bumper of the 92. Push him to burn his stuff up.
Yeah, because, Brian, you cannot afford to allow him to get too long of a run on you, because if he does that, this isn't one of those tracks where you're just going to be able to reel him in. So Clayton Hoffman he's a professional at this. So if you think about it, he is in his mind, he is going to be making the best calls that he can make, because that's why he's a winner. That's why he is in victory lane week in after week out, because he makes calculated decisions, right?
That he does. I mean, he's good at almost every track we come to here on the schedule, and that is why he's, at the top of the board when it comes to the championship points right now. I mean, easily has 7 wins when the next guy, I do believe, has only 3.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously he's got something figured out. But I don't think you let that guy run away. I think you've got to keep him at least in your sights to keep him honest at least.
Tell you what, it has been an up and down day for Kenny Powell here. He has dropped back to the back, has been involved in a couple accidents here, but he's back up in now 8th place. So definitely a good recovery here. Also, John Mullins, he's sitting right there in 7th, but I definitely have been very impressed with Brian Johnson. We haven't talked a whole lot about that 4 car here tonight, but he has definitely been one to watch. Been really trying to keep his head down, being safe, trying to, just weather the storm that is Darlington here. As we can see, the lights have come on the racing track. I do believe it has gotten to where it is nighttime, or soon to be. You can definitely see dusk is setting in.
Oh, yeah, I can see the light over at your sister's house. I see you got the porch light up.
Oh, man. Yeah, we're right down the road. I literally live 15 minutes away from this racetrack, and we'll be going to the race on Sunday. So I'm loving what I'm seeing here today. Can't wait to see what it looks like in real life. Of course, I have seen these next gens at Darlington in real life before, and it was quite the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got to love that being there, this being your home track. But right now, the Renato Tamburini machine looks like he is trying to make it his home track, as he has got the 92 still dialed in. And these guys are doing what they got to do. So we got 40 laps to go in this thing before we can actually put it in the books. Right now, they're all single file. Everybody's being good. And, some guys are saving, and some guys are at the end of their comfort zone. And that's going to actually show itself here in another, I believe, 20 laps. We'll start to see the difference there.
Yeah, really show who's been saving, who hasn't been. Another guy that we haven't talked a whole lot about here tonight, Mark Pageant. He has been having a wonderful day. He's right now 3rd in the points. Been running solid 4th right now. This is definitely going to be a good points day for him if he can keep it up. We saw Matt DeCiani earlier was able to get around Pageant, but right now it looks like DeCiani, maybe, I don't know if he's struggling or not, but maybe he is one of those guys that might be saving his equipment. Could be.
But see, Paget's fast early on, though. I think he's been struggling a little bit on the longer run, and he can correct me on that if I am wrong. Old molasses mouth over here, but I think, but a lot of guys had strategies when they came into this thing, and I think there's probably not one driver on that track right now whose strategy hasn't changed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a track. I mean, you could spend all week long out there on the racetrack practicing, but it's not going to prepare you for the actual race. I mean, this is one temperamental racetrack. One day you show up and it's completely different than it was before. I mean, and you can't know how the car's going to react if you're not out there with other drivers in race conditions.
Yeah, another driver right now that we hadn't mentioned a lot tonight too. That's the 84 of Andrew Layton, and Andrew's been running Mr. Layton's been running in the back of the pack for most of the night here, and I'm afraid though if things continue the way they are, he might be in jeopardy possibly of going a lap down. I mean, he's still a ways off, but man, with Clayton Hoffman and the 35 running the pace they're running, I just don't think it'll be long before they catch this guy.
Yeah, definitely. As we got a battle going on here, Kenny Powell and John Mullins duking it out for 7th. Definitely a heated exchange going on right now. As Kenny Powell desperate to make that pass. Oh, he slides up, almost catches the left rear of the 64. Luckily, it does not happen.
Not an easy track to pass at. We've seen that demonstrated time and time again, even resulting in the last accident that we had here, the last caution that came out. So definitely, you and I were kind of trying to find some different people to talk to. I don't think we'll try that again, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that was an interesting little talk there for the fans out there. I mean, he definitely just displaying his displeasure. I mean, you see that in real NASCAR where, you talk to the guy when he's in the infield care center. A lot of times he don't have anything nice to say.
I mean, and it just lets the fans know that these guys are competitive. And also, to his point, they're racing all over the world here. So it's just intense that you can actually have that type of competition and competition in your own living room, man. That's just amazing.
Tell you what, that race for 7th has been just heating up. I mean, you see Powell desperate. He is desperate to make that pass, but desperation causes mistakes. Here comes Mark Pageant, though. He's going to try to get underneath the 9 here. Lucas Abreu, that battle is going to be heating up for 3rd.
Yeah, and Paget, he is going to have to be very cognizant of the fact that he doesn't burn his stuff up. We still got 33 laps to go in this thing before it's in the book. So, I mean, that's a whole stage, you know what I mean? And these guys already got 20 laps on their tires. So you don't have to stop. And I think the key is going to be to put yourself in a position that you don't. As Jeffrey Souza now pulls up on the 64, John Mullins, and he's going to be trying to get himself up there in 8th place. But Mullins still going to be to the outside. Mullins gets a little bit loose there. And here comes the 11 of Don Avery, just like that. He's going to be trying to come around Mullins for what would be 9th place.
Yeah, Mullins has had really significant short run pace, but he has been one that has been struggling a lot on the longer runs, as we see Don Avery. He's another one we haven't talked about a lot here tonight, and has just made his appearance up into the top 10. Definitely has been a quiet day here for Avery, and I know last week I think was a little bit more of a dramatic week for him, and but this week it seems like he really hasn't been on the tabloid headlines.
Yeah, but speaking of those tabloids, here comes the 76 of Derek Heitman, and he is going to be trying to get around the 64. John Mullins trying to get himself into the top 10. Guess his night isn't over quite yet. Don't think he's going to have anything for Clayton, but he is still actually able to contend here tonight, so that's got to make him feel pretty good.
Well, I don't know if he's feeling good. I think he's still probably a little bit hot under the collar, and that could cause some problems. But it looks like he's going to get around the 64 without too many issues there. And if we do see a late race caution or something like that, that 76 could still be in the conversation here. I mean, and the thing is he's going to be looking to get back up to that 35. I mean, we'll have to see how that turns out.
Yeah, but he's going to have to unloosen his belt. He's going to have to take his tie, loosen it, undo that top button. And he's going to have to relax, man, because, you can't keep taking yourself out of contention by being too aggressive too early on. I'm just a commentator. I'm just up here giving my commentary. But, what we say all the time is you have to be available at the end of this thing if you want to win it.
Well, we got a pass here, I do believe, for 7th place. Kenny Powell grinding the wall a little bit there. That's going to give Jeffrey Souza the opportunity. He's making his way up to now 7th place. Souza has had a really good day. He's been up and down through the field, but, has definitely, recovered well, been able to, not make as many mistakes as a lot of other guys out there. So the 14 definitely going to be looking to try to get some points here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kenny Powell spent more time in the wall this week than he spent on this side of the wall. I mean, he's either been in it or on it. I don't think he can find a happy median with the dang wall. That's just been beating him up. 64 car, though, John Mullins now coming down pit road. Not sure what that's about. This will definitely be considered an unscheduled pit stop.
Yeah, definitely interesting. He's taking it down pit road. Maybe the car is just not handling like he'd like it to. But looking at the battle for 4th here, Matt DeCiani, we were just talking about earlier, Mark Pageant, really good on the short run. Seems like he lacks on the long run, though. That is starting to rear its ugly head here as DeCiani running about a 10th quicker than Pageant, and he's right there on the back bumper. So this could be a battle that comes to fruition here soon.
I think the 64 took 4 tires in fuel. I mean, at least he took 4 tires. That is definitely weird, as he is definitely going to go a lap down as a result of that. And not sure that everybody was scheduled to make green flag pit stops here during this last run, as they would have had enough fuel to make it. Maybe he just was not happy with the way that machine was handling here tonight.
Could be. I mean, it's going to be really close. So maybe he's got some math that we don't have here. I mean, these guys are right now 27 laps, soon to be 28 laps into this run. Of course, I do believe we have soon to be 24, I do believe, left to go here. So, I mean, that's going to be really, really close. I think it's easily enough to be able to save that much fuel instead of actually
Well,
going
when we
down.
went green, we were at 52 laps to go, and these cars had a 53 lap fuel window based on the 75% that they had, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, we've seen it before to where it's been, our numbers are just a hair off, and it could be
But our
that.
numbers they've never been short. I mean, you know what I mean? We've always had a lower number, and they've gone like 10, 15 laps longer than that.
You are correct. You're right. I mean, a lot of times, we kind of underestimated, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Now it's kind of got me curious because I did all kinds of math on this thing before we started, trying to figure out, the stint that the drivers would be able to run, and of course, all of that went out the window once we had those last two cautions there. So I kind of thought everybody would be good to the end.
Yeah, I think Mullins was just struggling. I don't think that he. I think he could have made it. I just think he maybe couldn't have made it on tires. Like, I mean, it seems like he had
And
some damage too that might have affected that suspension that was causing that tire to wear more.
yeah, you know what? And I don't think he's going to be the only one that actually comes down pit road to kind of get some freshies, if you will. But look at the lead that Clayton Hoffman and Renato Tamburini are putting on the field. I mean, these two, Renato is trying to keep Clayton Hoffman in his sights, but I don't think he's got anything for the 92 tonight.
Yeah, I don't think anybody seems like they got really anything for that 92. Just saw a pass back here. Andrew Layton, I do believe, just made it around Randy Drumhiller. Drumhiller back here in, I do believe, 17th. So Andrew Layton, even though he's been in the back all day, he's managed to stay available and stay alive out here.
Yeah,
And that's what matters.
He just took his name off death row right there. That's going to put the 44 up to be the next one to be assassinated because now the 84 is showing pace, and now he's just got to get past the 88. That's the key. You just don't want to be that guy that's between the leader and the last lap car. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah,
Now,
this is such a hard place to get out of the way, too. I mean, you already don't want to be side by side with guys that are on the lead lap with you, and you don't. If you're getting ready to go a lap down, you don't want to be losing all that momentum because what if you could see something go wrong. So I mean, it's just very difficult to get out of the way here at this track without losing momentum.
Yeah, 19 laps to go. Now these guys got to be feeling a little bit desperate, Brian, because I mean, it's go time. I mean, right now, I don't think anybody's got anything left, maybe, because the 92 and the 35 are kind of running away with this. And it's like, man, if they had anything, I think you should have already deployed those elements a little bit earlier than now.
Yeah, for sure. But one thing we heard when we talked to Clayton earlier, he said that he was burning up one of his tires quite significantly. But he said he was going to try to take care of it. But looking at the last time by, I do believe actually Renato Tamburini was a 10th faster than him. So something might be changing here, Big Al. I mean, I don't think the race is over for this lead.
Well, I think Clayton's just trying to take it easy right now because it's one thing for Renato to catch him. It's going to be something totally different for him to pass him. So Clayton still, it's going to be on him to let this guy, let him burn his stuff up trying to catch you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to do something.
Dangle that carrot there a little bit, but Clayton's going to have to definitely try to stretch his lead out a little bit, especially before they get into the lap traffic.
Yeah, it's all going to be about consistency, too. Can Renato be consistently faster than Clayton here? The gap right now only is 0.6. So this battle definitely not all said and done, but they have a tremendous lead on the rest of the field here. I do believe Tamburini actually about 6.2 seconds out in front of Lucas Abreu.
Yeah, the 11 of Donna Avery is kind of going to come down, and that's going to allow Thomas O'Hara to go by. And that's going to put O'Hara up into the top 10 tonight.
Yeah, Harris had a lot of speed here tonight. He definitely, we talked to him earlier, was very confident in his machine, thought he had a really good long-run car. And it looks like he's definitely been right. I mean, he hasn't been, the fastest car out there, but he's had a good day. I mean, it's any day you can kind of be in the top 10 at Darlington is a good day.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. any day you're in the top 10 of the ISCA is a good day.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, just considering how talented everybody is in this field. I mean, it's not easy to be up in the top 10. I mean, just like it's not easy to win. I mean, when you have to go against a man like Clayton Hoffman, I'd usually resign and say I don't have a chance.
Yeah, not me. I'd wait for him to come around and pass me, and I'd put him in a wall.
That's just meant to rattle his case. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, bud.
What's that they say? A broke clock is right twice a day. Well, when he was right there beside me, I'd be racing him for the lead. That's the way I'd see it, and that's what the pictures would say.
Just noticed Matt DeCiani. He has gotten around Mark Pageant here, taking over 4th place, and he is starting to chase down Lucas Abreu. So I think DeCiani desperate to talk to us here tonight as he is working on trying to get onto the podium.
Yeah, Derek Heitman is all the way back up to 8th as he just punted the 4, Brian Johnson, into the wall as he went by. Probably not going to be getting many, Facebook friend requests there at the end of the race here for the 76.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, still probably a little hot under their collar, but the 4, 4's like, I had nothing to do with that, man. You don't need to do that. You could race me clean.
Yeah, pretty sure they're going to get called to the hauler at the end of this thing.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of people talking in the holler here tonight. And, that usually a lot of times, we think all the drama's occurring during the race. But I'll tell you what, me and Big Al get us a nice view whenever we get everybody in there talking and we go, these guys go back and review every incident. And, sometimes that's more fun than the broadcast.
That's the part of the race where we're not talking,
We're just listening. We're just listening, yeah.
Yeah, if you ever get 2 commentators quiet, that should tell you something's going on. That's a 2 of Paget now, still holding down that 5th place position. But like I said, though, with 11 laps to go in this thing, usually he's kind of burning stuff up. Now, I hope 10 laps to go now, hope that he'll have a little bit something left here as these guys are going to have to figure something out as the 92 and the 35 keep stretching their legs out. Now they're going to be catching up to the 44 Randy Drumhiller. Probably not the way he wants to hear his name called here tonight either.
Yeah, definitely not. He's getting ready to go a lap down. And that lap traffic could, affect the results of this race. I mean, if Clayton gets caught up behind that 44, if the 44 doesn't know he's coming, maybe not as aware as he should be, it could spell some problems here for Clayton. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure Drumhiller are going to get out of the way. But anything that slows down Clayton, I think Renato is going to be pretty happy about.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with you on that. I don't think the 88's going to get out of their way, though.
Oh, look at that. The 92 gets loose on the exit of 4 as the 44 holds the top line. I mean, he really wasn't really trying to... I don't think the 44 was trying to be in the way. He was just trying to hold a consistent line, and I think the 92 dealing with the dirty air. He hasn't dealt with a whole lot of dirty air here in this later portions of the race. Looks like the 35 does a good job to get around, and that lap traffic really affected the gap between these two drivers. Now is only about 7/10 as Renato easily able to get by Randy Drumhiller. And that's the thing about it, the leader, you're a lot more willing to let the second place guy go than the leader. Oh, the 35 into the outside wall a bit there. See Kenny Powell, he's right now up into 7th place. Oh, into the outside wall. Should not have said his name. Apparently, don't talk about Kenny Powell. I was getting ready to say something good because he's starting to catch Jeffrey Souza. I don't know, though. I mean,
yeah, but Souza's a little loose himself, and I think, these guys are sitting here and they got 46 laps on their tires. I mean, this is the longest run that any of them have done thus far tonight. This being that long run that everybody wanted, they are getting it. But man, it is just not. It's not playing in everybody's favor. I guess with 5 laps to go here, I think they're just all just wanting this thing to be over.
Clayton Hoffman getting extremely close to the wall, and the gap for the lead is starting to dwindle here. 0.6 here. Renato can see gold in his eyes. He's like, please make a mistake, Clayton. Please make a mistake, because I think that Clayton is starting to have those tires misbehave on him a little bit. Like you mentioned, this is the longest run of the race. A lot of the guys probably are not prepared for this long of a run.
Yeah, I mean, who practices this? I mean, it's practice, so it's always easier to just gotta, like, click the button and start over, but you can't do that here. You got to make these next 4 laps count, and at this point, Renato has nothing to lose. He has got to put the hammer down, and he's losing that gap, though. Clayton's still maintaining his lead, but if Renato has any chance whatsoever, he's got to try to find a way to close that distance right now, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think right now, Clayton Hoffman, tires got just cool enough that he's just going to go ahead and roll this baby into the books.
Mark Pageant just lost a couple positions there. He almost got passed by Kenny Powell, but Powell actually hit the outside wall. But Jeffrey Sousa now up to 5th place.
And that's good on Jeffrey Sousa, though, because he's battled tonight. I mean, he said he had a fast car. Now he's kind of showing.
Powell is struggling. Kenny Powell actually he's been hitting the wall like every lap here. He's probably just ready for this thing to be over. Look at there he is again, hitting the wall. He's going to, Derek Heitman, he's coming. Heitman is going to try to take 7th away from him. You also see Thomas O'Hara, so definitely going to be some action-packed last couple laps here as we are soon to have the white flag.
The leader will be coming around at the white flag this time.
And we have completed almost 250 miles. Definitely has been quite the show. Clayton Hoffman, 1.5 seconds, so he is going to be able to, I do believe, if he can make it through the next couple corners, he's going to have it sewn up.
He's 2 turns away from being paid again. But this is more like a heavyweight fight, though, out of everything that we've done so far, minus the Coca-Cola 600. So these guys definitely coming out here tonight, putting in a long run. Kudos to all of the drivers that were actually able to finish this thing, looking like we only had a handful of drivers that weren't even on the lead lap. But congratulations once again to Clayton Hoffman. He is going to be tonight's winner.
Renato Tamburini going to finish 2nd place. 3rd place, Lucas Abreu. 4th, Matt DiCiani. 5th place, Jeffrey Sousa. 6th place, Mark Pageant. 7th place, Derek Heitman. 8th place, Thomas O'Hara. 9th, Kenny Powell. And rounding out our top 10 here, Don Avery.
Brian Johnson's in 11th with Andrew Griesbaum in 12th, Mark Sanchez 13th, Wayne Grossi 14th, Andrew Layton in 15th, Al Keselowski is 16th. Randy Drumhill are going to be 1 lap down in 17th, along with John Mullins a lap down in 18th, and then the rest, Danilo Coelho is going to be shown in 19th, some 77 laps down. Chris D. Johnson, Paul Olsen, JC Nabrega, and Felipe Radijicic.
Yeah, definitely a great race. Well, let's go ahead and take a one more step away here before we get our post-race show started. We'll be right back.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and definitely a excellent race here for the Cheerwine 250. What a dominant performance there from Clayton Hoffman, able to win the second stage and the race here. Man, how you feeling? I mean, it looked like he started struggling a little bit there towards the, started getting reeled in by Renato, but then he started having some problems himself, and it looks like it was just all about saving tire there at the end. And you kind of, y'all got y'all's wish a little bit about having a little bit of a longer run though, even though we had a caution kind of messed that whole thing up. But then that long run, it went green to the end. I mean, how are you feeling?
I feel pretty good. Win locks me into was it the next round? I think I don't remember exactly how the playoffs work as far as rounds go, but I mean, a win's always good. Last year, had to miss a race, got lagged out of a race, and then I had one chance to make it to the next round, and I wasn't able to get the win there. So, being able to make it on to the next round is definitely a big improvement for me.
Yeah, it definitely is, and especially at a place like this, a crown jewel like Darlington. I mean, does it mean more to win here at a place like this? How difficult it is?
Yeah, I don't know if it would feel as good as it did last year, just because these cars, you can hit the wall, it seems like 10, 15 times, and you're still going to be just as fast as you were when you were clean. So it doesn't seem like damage really does much unless you just hit it so hard you break the toe link. So, I don't think it feels as rewarding as it did before, but it's still pretty rewarding.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it sounds like it has made it a little somewhat easier, but still, I mean, tire. I think tire wear has been really the name of the game here. You said you were burning up, I think what was one of your tires there, in that interview we talked to you before. Did you feel like you fixed that, or was it something that you still were having to deal with there towards the late run?
Yeah, I still had to deal with it. I couldn't cut down in 1 and 2. It was just absolutely killing my lap times by probably about a tenth or so per lap. I was pretty decent or the same, I feel like, as anybody else in 3 and 4, but I just could not get off of turn 2 because I couldn't make the cut down in the center of the corner.
Now tell us about how the track was changing as the race went on. I mean, was that something that you felt like was significant?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, as the track cools off, you're just gonna have less wear, so it just allowed me to push, a bit harder. Um, Kind of rewards those that push harder at the beginning of runs, or I should say, I guess hurts them less. So, uh, I just did everything I could to use as little tire as possible, but maintain a couple tenths advantage in case I had a bad exit off a corner. I could still have a chance to fight for the lead and not get passed on the straightaway.
Well, definitely. Almost saw. I wanted to kind of point out something I saw there when you were dealing with Randy Drumhiller. He was at the top of the track and you were trying to get around there. What happened? It looked like he got really loose.
It looked like Randy got loose in front of me, so I tried to keep it as low as I possibly could. And then when I throttled up, the rear just let go on me, so I had to, back it down and just make sure I maintain control of the car.
Well, he looked like he definitely recovered well there in that situation. I know lap traffic probably was the last thing you wanted to see, but you didn't have to deal with a whole lot of it here tonight, so that was definitely good. Well, man, I mean, what a race we had here tonight. Can't wait to see what the next one looks like. I do believe. Let's see where we're going. I do believe is it Bristol on the docket. I think. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm so ill prepared here tonight.
Kansas is next.
Kansas. Okay, I appreciate you there, Kenny. Kansas. So yeah, that's going to be a really good one. Top line centric, probably going to see even the bottom line work too. I mean, do you feel comfortable about Kansas? I know you, like you said, you might have locked yourself in here with this win. I mean, are you still going to be going after the win here at Kansas?
Oh yeah, I love the mile and a half. So Kansas. I mean, I was so good at Michigan, and what happened at Michigan or what worked at Michigan should translate to Kansas. So I'd expect to be up there battling for a win.
Yeah, definitely. And we've been at similar tracks this year too, considering we were at Chicagoland a couple months ago, and those kind of tracks are similar. And loved every bit of those kind of races. Can't wait to see what that looks like for sure, man. Well, congratulations once again on your race here for the Cheerwine 250 at Darlington, a crown jewel, and definitely this is a driver's track, and you showed that you're one of the top drivers here in ISCA. Who can we shout out tonight for you there, Clayton?
Again, shout out to Legacy Esports, all our sponsors, Blackstone Management Champion, uh, Reaper Speed Labs. I'm forgetting a couple more. Hold on. But thanks to all those guys that support us. Have a lot of cool friends and stuff that made through some of those sponsorships, and it's great to have a great group of guys to work with there. Oh, also shout out to Green Mountain Grills. That was the big one I'm forgetting. It's right on the hood of my car. But yeah, a bunch of the guys ran Road to Pro tonight or were helping out spotting for it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they did. Hopefully they did well.
Yeah, we definitely hopefully they did well also, and you can't forget any of your sponsors there. You'll have some angry calls missed after this race, but definitely a great job here, Clayton. Can't wait to see what Kansas looks like for you, man, and we'll catch you later.
All right, thank you.
That was Clayton Hoffman, your winner here tonight for the Cheerwine at 250 in the ButtKicker Cup and Super Cup Series. Big shout out to those fine folks there at ButtKicker for coming on board, and also Cheerwine. Any final thoughts there, Big Al? I mean, what a race!
Yeah, what a race. That's all I got.
I mean, it
I'll
was
steal the spotlight here for a minute too.
Okay,
if you don't mind. I want to congratulate Clayton on winning the season 3 championship, and he will be having a new ButtKicker Plus coming his way. So thanks for running as good as you do, Clayton, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely a big deal there. Winning that the Cup Series championship. Of course, we still are in the just starting the playoffs here for the Super Cup. So I mean, we still got a lot of excitement to come, and we're gonna have a whole fresh new season, I do believe, coming up here for season 4. Is it right, Kenny?
That's right.
Can't wait. That's going to be a good one. Going to be a whole host of some great tracks, Kansas, and I think right after that's Bristol. So definitely going to be excited to see it. I mean, hey, I guess I'm like Chase Elliott because I said it was Bristol next week. But can't wait to see what it looks like. And with that, I do believe that draws us to our conclusion here for tonight's race. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on all the social media platforms that are applicable. And we appreciate everybody out there, tuning in. All the drivers that came out here to tackle such an intimidating track. The lady in black herself. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.